Hello and welcome back to Triple Gaming with me, Fletcher. And welcome back to Warthunder and the DERP Sherman. If you have not already commented, liked or subscribed, please consider doing so, as it really helps us get closer to that 1000 subscriber target we're aiming for. Now, if you haven't already seen the previous video with the DERP Sherman, I suggest you go back and check that one out, because I'm not going to go over the Sherman's characteristics in this video. We're just going to get straight to the battle. So we're on a different map to that snow map that you might have seen last time. This river map is actually a bit bigger and a bit more open compared to that snow map. And we're going to see in a minute just how effective this vehicle is. I can see in the distance there is a half track. I'm going to line up my shot, and there he goes. He is out of here. Let's see that again in slow motion. Here is the 105mm high explosive ammunition that this thing fires. It's packed with high explosive. It's a sort of typical artillery shell, and as this shell flies off towards its target, we're going to have a look at the map here. So on the right hand side we have high ground. That's normally where a lot of fighting happens. In the center of the map we have this hill in the middle with bridges either side and this river valley. There's also a lot of fighting that goes on here. Because if you're up on the hill to the right, you can shoot down onto that hill. And that hill is actually on this map layout where the command post is that we need to actually capture to win the map. But let's see how this goes with this armored half track here. He's got no armor whatsoever, and my 105mm shell is about to give his driver an unwanted face piercing. There we go. There is the high explosive round going off. And because his vehicle is soft skinned and unarmored, that high explosive round is going to destroy him very easily. But in the split second before I kill him, he have fired back at me, which I didn't realize until I watched the replay back. So he fires his shot just as my shot hits him, and in a minute you'll see all the crew disappear from his vehicle with that explosion, and indicating that his vehicle is now no longer operational. There we go, they've popped out of existence. But his shell is still on its way. It's a 75mm armor piercing round, and it's heading straight towards me. And I was very lucky here because I didn't know he'd fired at me, so his shell comes screaming over the central hill here, heading my way. I have just turned slightly and I'm about to start driving off, and I don't see this round come at me. It just passes that telegraph pole, and as you can see here, just misses the side of my tank turret there by around, I don't know, less than a hand's width, I would have said, from the side of my turret, and continues off into the background there. That could have been a very nasty hit, so I'm glad I avoided that. Now I continue onwards towards the river valley because I want to help my team capture that command post. But it's all about to go rather disastrously wrong. So I try and take cover behind these rocks here, because there are quite a few enemy targets. I take a shot at this Cromwell, but it doesn't do anything unfortunately, and I get back into cover. I'm just checking my flanks here to make sure I'm okay. Now there are 4 enemy tanks over in that little depression there in front. One of them pops out and takes a shot and sets me on fire, which is a bad thing, as you can imagine. Now let's have a look at this area in slow-mo. So we've got 4 tanks here. We've got the Panzer IV and the Achilles there on the left-hand side of the screen. Both very dangerous vehicles. The Achilles is the one that has actually set me on fire. The Panzer IV is a normal sort of medium German tank. The Achilles is a British tank destroyer armed with a 17-pounder gun. So they're the two that are on the left-hand side. And in a minute, I'm going to pan the camera round to the right. We've got the Cromwell at the front of these two on the right-hand side, and this M3 Lee. So we've got a British medium tank and an American medium tank here. Now, so it's 4 against 1, essentially. And let's have a look at that Achilles shot. So he just ducks behind these rocks. He's in a very good spot here, hull down. And I am just in the distance behind the wall, and he's going to pop himself out just enough to line up that gun of his while I'm looking the other way. And 17 pounder he's armed with is a very dangerous gun. It's basically designed to kill the Tiger tank at very long distances. So my Sherman offers pretty much no defense from him whatsoever. There he fires, and his round is already quite far gone from beyond the barrel. That's quite a good shot though there, isn't it? I do like that that shot there of the Achilles opening fire and someone blowing up behind him. I think that's the Panzer IV blowing up behind him that's been struck, and the M3 Lee is actually already dead as well. But let's have a look at this armor-piercing round that he's fired at me. Just a standard armor-piercing shell there. And it's going to head straight into my Sherman, unfortunately. He actually clips the wall in front of me first. The round actually it goes through this stone wall here. You'll see in a second. There we go. It strikes the top of the stone wall, technically disappearing, but the shell is still on its way towards me. And in a minute there's going to be a bright flash as that shell continues into the front of my tank there, as I am aiming at something completely different. Where is it? There it is. So there's the shell bounced off the top of the wall, and it strikes me. I believe that's the turret ring there. It is indeed. It's basically just where the turret hit joins to the hull, and I'm lucky that that did not kill me in one. I can tell you, if that had been a German tank shell, it probably would have been the end of my tank, but luckily the Achilles shell just sets me on fire. Now the problem is, I do not have fire extinguishing equipment yet on this particular vehicle, so I am burning. There's little to no hope for me. I can't turn the turret either, so I have to quickly nudge the tank around, and I do kill that Achilles that's put a shot into me just by nudging the tank to the left. But I'm pretty certain I'm going to die because I can't put out this fire, and eventually it's going to set my ammunition off. However, just as I think that's pretty much it for this tank, in the background here comes this guy in a Stug, and he is about to save my life. And if you were this Stug driver, thank you very much for this act of heroism. He comes over and helps put out my blaze, allowing me to repair whatever damage I've got and stay in the fight. There we go. There's the fire out, luckily for me. And that Stug has saved my bacon. So I immediately want to get heading off. There's a firefight going on the center hill, as you can see. There are a couple of allied tanks here, and there are quite a few enemy tanks around here. And we want to try and hold this hill because, like I say, there's the command post on this, which is what we need to hold to win the match. So, with my tank damaged but still moving, I decide not to waste time repairing, and I decide to head to help my allies here in the center of the map. So we're going to pass this Panzer IV here that's just kind of being pebble dashed in from the distance. I bounce a shell off the front of my tank, open fire at those in the distance, and there goes the anti-aircraft half-track. That's another kill for me. Now you can see that there are tanks down there as well. I'm hiding while I reload a new heat round, And my next target is this Japanese tank destroyer here. I'm going to put a shot into the back of it, and that is him dead as well. And I think I'm going to replay that one because I think that was an especially good shot. So here you can see the Japanese tank destroyer in the center of the screen with this enormous gun. And in a minute there's going to be a flash from behind him as I open fire through all that artillery bombardment. There I go, there I pop round the stones there in the distance and take my shot through the smoke. Where is it? That Japanese tank destroyer gun is enormous. It's actually a naval gun. Probably from something like a light cruiser or frigate that's actually been welded to a tank. It's huge. Certainly not something you want to be hit by. There's my shot then. And as I take a pause here, you can see all the crew is unfortunately unprotected, but that big box at the back of the tank where those two guys are sitting, that's actually full of ammunition. And my shell is about to set that ammunition off. It comes straight through to the back, doesn't actually hit the box, it actually strikes a tank between the box and the hull of the tank, just underneath there you can see. And that will set off the ammunition in there, and it's going to completely obliterate that vehicle in a colossal explosion, which we get to see in lovely slow motion. There's the ammunition goes, there's the crew pops out as the tank burns off the ammunition and explodes. Lovely smoke effect there coming out of the gun barrel with the ammunition going up in flames. So with them destroyed, I now target the people in the distance. It's another DERP Sherman, and the first one that takes my heat round and is dead straight away. There is a second DERP Sherman in the distance as well. I'm going to reload, pop out, take a shot, and he is easily dead as well. And let's see that in slow-mo. So here I am behind my rocks. There's the first shell fired, another heat round. And the two Shermans in the distance here are basically exactly the same as my Sherman. They're DERP Shermans. Someone's just exploded there behind the tree line. And here we go. My shell hits him dead center of the hull. That front armor is going to offer no resistance at all to this round. Smashes straight in there, and that is him a goner. I think I kill all of his crew with that particular shell. There he goes. Now the second Sherman that's pretty much right next to him, I just have to pop out a little bit further. He is not actually looking at my way. I think there is someone in the river valley that they were both actually targeting. I've just noticed all those shells going up towards the hill. I'm wondering who that is firing at. And he takes, actually, that DERP Sherman takes a round into the turret. So yeah, he's obviously fighting with someone down in the river valley. My shell, as you can see, is just passing through the long grass, like a velociraptor out of the Lost World. And it's going to strike his tank low down, just on the corner of that, the eye that's on the front of his tank there. If I move the camera up, just catch the edge of the eye mark there on the tank. But again, goes straight through, and that is him also dead and out of that tank. And the DERP Shermans are pretty dangerous vehicles, as I'm proving, so I'm glad to have gotten rid of two of them. So now I take some time opening fire at other vehicles. I take a shot at that Stug there behind the rocks. Luckily the side skirts for him take the shot and enable him not to be damaged. So I'm having a careful look to see who else I can target that's over there. That is actually the purpose of those side skirts that were on tanks of the Second World War. It's to detonate the heat rounds that I'm firing, basically. Primitive protection from RPGs and bazookas and the likes. Other shaped charged weapons. Take another shot there at the little Czechoslovakian tank, goes straight through, kills his turret crew. So that's another 2 powerful hits. And I'm basically just trying to do whatever I can to help my allies move up here. I'm lining up another shot on an anti-aircraft half-track, kill him stone dead, and suddenly I am shot and out. Now what did that? Well, let's go back. So here's my shot against the Stug, or Stur actually. I think this is the howitzer armed version. And you can see here, so this is the side skirt arrangement, and it's actually away from the hull there. And it's thick enough metal that what it does is it sets off the shell, and then the shell does its business, that fires its molten metal through. But because it's quite far away from the hull, it prevents the shell from actually doing its damage to the tank itself. And the side skirts there doing exactly what they are designed to do there on that Stur. There wasn't really anything else I could have done. And he gets to live another day and just drive off. There's quite a lot of firing going on over here. There's a KV-2 there. So, what happens to me? Well, in the background here, on top of the hills behind us, there is a British, well, not British, but this is a South African armoured car, armed with a 6-pounder gun. And he's got himself in a really good position here, hiding between the mountains, right behind us, at the top of the map. And he has a good overlook over the rest of the map, and he takes a shot there, and his round strikes the rear of my tank, as you can see here. It penetrates through the engine block and actually manages to kill the rest of my crew by penetrating all the way through my tank from the back, as it were. Very underhanded tactic there, but he was put himself in a good spot with that light vehicle. He was doing exactly what they should do, but unfortunately for him, we get the last laugh on my team. This Italian tank destroyer has spotted him up on the top of the hill. This tank destroyer has a really powerful 90mm gun. There's his shot. And unfortunately, the little armoured car on top of the hill is no more. There he goes. Killed. But, yeah. Good play there by the little South African armoured car to knock us and me out of the match. So, again, not a complete match with the DERP Sherman, but a good match nonetheless. If you're liking these Warthunder videos, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think about my Warthunder gameplay so far. I'm still trying to do more of these videos every single week, so that you have some interesting content to watch that's not just dinosaur based. Next Warthunder video I'm still recording footage for, still trying to get a good match for you guys to watch. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the usual Warthunder stuff. I'll see you on Sunday for the usual stream. And until then, stay safe and goodbye.